After President Trump was acquitted, he unloaded on his political enemies and looked back at the big picture to see how a lot of this got started.
Had I not fired James Comey, who was a disaster, by the way, it's possible I wouldn't even be standing here right now. And if I didn't fire James Comey, we would have never found this stuff. Because when I fired that sleazebag, all hell broke out. They were ratting on each other.
Here with reaction and making his Water's World debut, former New York City mayor and attorney for the president, Rudy Giuliani. All right, so it goes even farther back than that because of the collusion, because of the Steele dossier and all these allegations that ended up being a hoax. Now it looks like they're really going to press back on the enemies that started this whole thing. We talked about it at the top, the whistleblower. We talked about maybe Hunter Biden. They're going after some of his records. How far, Mr. Mayor, are you guys going to push this now that this whole thing's been acquitted?
Well, I want to prove what happened, because I believe if we prove what happened, he will be totally vindicated. I can take it back to January of 2016. A possibility of the whistleblower was there.
Right.
NSC meeting. NSC, Obama and Biden representatives tell Ukrainian officials, get me dirt on Manafort.
Right.
I have 3 witnesses to that.
Really?
1, 2, 3. If you go to my podcast, you'll see one of them right now. Andriy Teleshenko,
yeah,
Konstantin Kulyuk, and Nazar Kolonitsky. I defy anybody to spell them, but I spelled them out in my podcast.
Okay, so the Obama
3 witnesses are willing to get on the witness stand and say that in January 2016,
yeah,
members of Obama's NSC violated the law Mueller was investigating Trump for violating. They asked foreigners for dirty information on an American citizen who was going to be involved in a political campaign.
That's it.
If it's good enough for Donald Trump Jr. to be investigated for a year and a half, what about all these NSC members who work for Obama, work for Biden? Possible.
Now, the 3 witnesses that you have, did they name names, these 3 witnesses? Do they say who in the Obama administration?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
really?
name names.
They do?
And we also have...
We have those names?
We also have a memo.
We have a memo.
Yeah,
what does the memo say? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You have a memo?
I got a memo, yeah.
Do you have it on you right now?
No, I don't have that one right now.
You're not going to tell me right now?
on me right now.
You're not going to... Oh, but you maybe have it later.
But there's no doubt who was at that meeting. And there's no doubt, they may lie about it, but there were 3 Ukrainian, 2 prosecutors, and 1 member of the embassy.
Okay, so that's the Manafort Black Book. That's what ended up being false.
And you should understand there's also conversations in which the Manafort Black Book, Teleshenko was told by Chalupa, is intended to blow the Trump campaign up.
Chalupa, the DNC contractor.
And she uses the word in May, that's going to destroy the Trump campaign. When it's leaked in August by a parliamentarian named Lushenko, you know what he says?
What?
This will destroy Trump. He will no longer be a candidate. The reason it's a forgery is they never really expected to use it in court. They thought it was going to blow up his campaign, but we know he's Teflon. By that time,
they thought the Black Book on Manafort was going to make Trump withdraw.
Yeah, they did. They did. They thought it was
so naive.
Because, you know why? They actually believed that somehow he was involved in the Russians, somehow he was involved with Manafort. They start to believe their own garbage.
Right. So you have the 3 people that can testify to the Obama NSC, and you also have Chalupa, who DNC contractor. You have documentation of all this. Do you have any Hunter Biden documentation? Because that's what Lindsey Graham says he's going to do in the Senate committee.
Lindsey, get started. I have what I used to call, when I was U.S. attorney, a smoking gun. This is a money laundering transaction. It occurred just at the time that Shokin was fired. And it's about 14.6 million. And this is a notice from the Latvian government to the Ukrainian government that Hunter Biden is under investigation for corruption affair. And then it lays out, I'll simplify it, 14.8 million goes from Ukraine to a company in Latvia disguised as a loan. Then it goes from Latvia to another company disguised as another loan in Cyprus. And then it goes to the U.S. We lose track of it because when Shokin gets it, just about the day he's fired, there's no money in here for Devin Archer and Hunter Biden. Everybody else, the money is listed.
The two board members.
Well, all the other board members, money listed, money listed, money listed. None for them.
So a roundabout,
So
I guess, international wire to avoid detection, disguised as a loan. And you have documentation to show that.
It's right here.
You have the memo right there. And this is from...
This is from Latvia to Ukraine, contemporaneous.
Okay, because right now we know a few Senate Republicans have asked the Treasury Department about some of these financial irregularities involving Hunter Biden.
This should have been investigated. Look, the government has been so lax in investigating this, it's pathetic. I mean, these are crimes that when I was a U.S. attorney, the day Joe Biden made that boastful announcement about how he bribed
big mistake, Joe. Yeah.
The investigation would have begun the next day for bribery.
Right.
He violated the bribery statute. Announcement.
There he is. All right. If Lindsey Graham, talk to.
We got the documents.
America's mayor right here. He's got. I'm looking at some of this right here.
He's a good lawyer. It's called corroboration.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Rudy. I appreciate it. Democrats had a rough time in Iowa. So Hillary.